making the headlines during the past week. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit presented a record national budget of over $1,119 million to Parliament. Government announced it had entered into an agreement for the operation of a medical school at the former Ross University campus in Picard. 2 men of Fondcole remanded in custody for murder. I am Ivona John Baptist Lugi. The details of the news in review when we return.
DBS Radio now brings to you professional and quality live streaming services for all your funerals, special occasions, and events. Contact us today at 448-3282 or 448-3283 or email us at dbsradio@cwdom.dm. DBS Radio, your new era in broadcasting. Contact us today.
Welcome back. Over the last week, one of Dominica's largest national budgets was presented to Parliament. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit presented a budget of $1,119,829,000. He announced a new measure to bring relief to consumers of electricity in Dominica.
Whilst government is not in a position to remove all of the VAT charge on electricity effective August 1, 2022, we will increase the number of VAT-free units from 100 kilowatt hours to 150 kilowatt hours of electricity energy provided by DOMLEC to domestic consumers for billing period. Mr. Speaker, currently I have been advised that this measure will benefit the 14,534 domestic consumers whose consumptions are currently above 100 units. In addition to this, Mr. Speaker, effective August 1, 2022, there will be no VAT on fuel surcharge charged on DOMLEC bills.
Meantime, Mr. Skerrit said a Chinese firm would be the main contractor for the construction of an international airport for Dominica.
After a very rigorous tender process, I am happy to announce to this Honorable House that China Railway No. 5 Engineering Group Company, CR5, has been selected as the main contractor for the construction of the international airport. CR5 is a reputable firm with extensive experience and a successful track record in the execution of major transport projects, including subway and railway lines, roads and airports in the Caribbean, Africa, Europe, and Asia.
The Prime Minister said further that governments had entered into an agreement for the operation of a medical school at the former Ross University campus in Picard.
I am pleased to announce that after several months of negotiations, government has finalized and entered into an agreement with CSOM Holdings Limited for the operation of a medical school at the former Ross University campus at Picard, which will be named the American Canadian School of Medicine. The school will offer a 4-year medical degree designed for students who have already completed bachelor degrees and will be run by an experienced team comprising doctors who have held positions at major universities in the United States, including a former vice president of operations of the Ross University School of Medicine.
And leader of the opposition, Lennox Linton, in his response to the 2022-2023 budget presentation, called for the establishment of a youth entrepreneurship investment bank.
This new financial institution should be capitalized with $100 million from the citizenship revenues of Dominica and will create the much-needed ecosystem of support around businesses of young people in agriculture, tourism, IT and financial services, renewable energy, sports, and the creative industries. It will prioritize funding for youth business projects alongside technical assistance to ensure success in providing quality goods and services.
Agriculture Minister Fidel Grant reported investments of over $145 million into the sector over the last 5 years. Grant told the budget debate on Wednesday that there were encouraging signs for the agricultural sector.
This money was used in strengthening, empowering, and building back a stronger sector, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the last fiscal year, no stone has been left unturned. Mr. Speaker, the investment this Labour Party administration has made in the sector is bearing fruit. Mr. Speaker, I will demonstrate that this Labour Party government is transforming the agriculture and fishery sector as we know it.
Roseau Central MP Minister Roosevelt Skerrit announced plans for new housing for the constituency.
There remains a big demand for housing in the city. We are fast-tracking plans to build 2 additional apartment complexes in the Pound and the Riverbank area. I look forward to the commencement of these projects because at the top of my agenda is the comfort and the safety and the happiness of my constituents.
Minister for Public Sector Reform, Greta Roberts, said the Caribbean Center for Development Administration, CARICAD, was spearheading a major review and reclassification of the public service.
Mr. Speaker, the job analysis review is now complete. We have reviewed job descriptions of 269 benchmark positions, which formed the basis for the conduct of a job evaluation exercise. This was undertaken by a team of public officers and the Public Service Union representatives and supervised by CARICAD. A parallel job evaluation was also conducted by 2 independent consultants.
President of Dominica, His Excellency Charles Sovereign, addressed Parliament on the opening day and called for a more aggressive approach towards eliminating child sexual abuse and gun violence in Dominica.
It is clear that this serious problem should not be left solely to government, the police, and the Social Welfare Division to deal with. We all have a responsibility in promoting the welfare and safety of our children and eliminating the illegal possession of firearms. The criminal justice system, and by that I mean the courts, also have a very critical role to play in this fight. Severe penalties which serve as a deterrent, as provided for in the body of the robust pieces of legislation that have been enacted by Parliament to deal with these criminal offenses, should be meted out regularly. Such an approach would greatly help deter potential offenders and curb the incidence of such criminal offenses.
2 men, Jovan Vidal and Tyrone Theophile of Fondcole, who were charged with the murder of Pascal Frederick, who resided at Fondcole, were remanded in custody. That after an application for bail failed in court. Frederick was found dead outside a shop in Glasgow, Fondcole, on July 18. Defense counsel Wayne Norde made an application for bail, saying his clients would not offend while on bail and would not interfere with witnesses. He said, based on the Constitution, they were innocent until proven guilty. Acting Director of Public Prosecutions Shomode Rampel said the murder was committed with the use of a firearm which had not been recovered. She told the court there had been an upsurge in the use of illegal firearms over the last 2 months. Therefore, the granting of bail was not in the public's interest. Magistrate Michael Loda, in handing down his decision, said under the new Bail Act, he could not grant bail for a serious crime. He stated that the Bail Act would put a burden on the defendants and said attorneys were slipping when the Bail Act was debated in Parliament. He told the defendants they could make an application for bail at the High Court if they so decided. The matter was adjourned to December 5. It was reported that some 280,000 cruise passengers will be expected in Dominica for the new season beginning October. Tourism Minister Denise Charles made the announcement as Dominica welcomed the Disney Fantasy Cruise Line to its shores for the first time on Monday.
Dominica prepares to welcome 200+ cruise calls for the upcoming 2022-2023 cruise season, starting November 2022. This translates to approximately 280,000 cruise passengers. It is hoped that these figures will increase by the start of the new cruise season in October, considering the recent meetings held with the cruise lines. We look forward to welcoming all our cruise guests to explore our natural wonders.
Chief Executive Officer of the Dominica Air and Seaports Authority, Benoit Badwell, said the inaugural visit of Disney Fantasy Cruises to Dominica was encouraging.
Indeed, it's been a long time in coming, but we know that it takes a first time to continue the journey because we want to ensure that as we whet your appetite today, that you will go back to your offices and talk to Michelle, not Michelle, so that the Disney can become part of the itinerary on a regular basis.
Dominica and the People's Republic of China signed a new memorandum of understanding to develop the blue and green economy. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of the Blue and Green Economy, Agriculture and National Food Security, Dr. Kira Paul, said the blue and green economy holds exciting prospects for Dominica.
And so the blue economy is defined as an approach to promote sustainable and integrated use of our marine resources for economic growth, improve livelihoods and job creation, while preserving the health of our ocean ecosystems. And so, again, this concept is very significant to all Caribbean countries, in particular the OECS countries. And so there is a unified front within the region and in country to ensure that we recognize and we benefit from the true potential of the blue economy.
And Minister for Blue and Green Economy, Agriculture and National Food Security, Fidel Grant, said the signing marked a historic day for Dominica.
We are witnessing the signing ceremony of another progressive move by the ministry and the government, where we are deepening our cooperation as it relates to the development of the blue economy. We experienced some delays due to COVID-19, so our development of the blue economy following the creation of the ministry 2019 was hampered. But rest assured, we are making significant progress in the development of the blue economy. As you know, our partners, the People's Republic of China, have a reputation for delivering and doing significant work. We have seen the work that they have been doing in the agriculture sector, in the crop side, and we will be seeing what they can do in relation to the blue economy. As we know, the blue economy is not only about preserving our marine life and our marine assets, but it was also creating sustainable jobs. And we have a number of areas that we are looking at, not just fishing, but we have diving, energy, and a number of other areas that are significant to the development of the blue economy. In the few months ahead, we will see work and we'll keep the media up to date as it relates to the development of the blue economy. So once again, thanks to the People's Republic of China for this agreement and for the assistance thus far.
Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Honorable Kent Edwards, stated that government had made major investments towards the establishment of improved healthcare institutions. A number of new health and wellness centers were being constructed across the island.
There's also a new health and wellness center being built at Savon Pie. We take our infrastructure very seriously in the Ministry of Health. We are renovating those that are due for renovation in Trafalgar, Massac, Salisbury, and Sansoville, Mr. Speaker. New health centers will be constructed in the St. Joseph and in Roseau. And Grandfont as well. Grandfont was done for renovation, but the Minister of Health decided he wants a new health center in Grandfont.
However, opposition Senator Clement Masley called for greater investments into Dominica's health sector. But Masley praised the efforts of Health Minister Dr. Irvin McIntyre.
Speaker, we need to put greater investment into health, and I'm willing, and I'm saying it forefront, if there is any other supplementary appropriation for this particular period for healthcare, I'll be the first to stand and applaud Dr. McIntyre, because I believe as well, this is one of the ministries that has the right person in the right position. That is one of the ministries I know that is being led by the person at the helm.
In sports, at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham in England, Team Dominica participated in the opening ceremony, which took place in front of an estimated crowd of 30,000. The Dominica delegation was dressed in purple jackets and black pants. The flag bearers were Commonwealth Games bronze medalist and Olympic athlete Thea Laffour and Olympic athlete Denick Luke. Warren Lawrence created history by being the first Dominican swimmer to participate in the Commonwealth Games and achieving third place in heat number 2 of the men's 100-meter backstroke event. However, he was unable to qualify for the semi-finals event. The Dominica Football Association launched a massive national grassroots program to involve children 6 to 13 years old. 50 communities will participate in this program. President of the Dominica Football Association, Glenn Etienne, said the grassroots program is aimed at restoring the popularity of the game among communities.
Our football is at a juncture where we need to revisit our plans and to clearly articulate a vision for the youth ahead of us. More community participation is therefore expected to grow our football. We remember the years when there was football played in almost every community. We saw the talent produced back then. Unfortunately, a lot has changed in recent times, and we have not seen the increased participation and the involvement of the community as much as we would like.
Etienne encouraged clubs and former players to assist in the new venture.
We make a plea for the able-bodied football players who have played the game and are no longer competing in our leagues to lend a hand in their communities. The youth players are depending on you. Here now is a chance to put your energies to work in something positive and something that will be a fruit for you in the long run. It makes little sense criticizing another if you yourselves are not ready and willing to make your contribution and play your part in football development on the island.
Dominican Stephen Pascal led the Winner Islands under-17 team to victory in the West Indies Rising Stars tournament in Trinidad. Pascal, along with Jelani Joseph and Edmund Moranci, were met at Douglas Charles Airport by cricket officials, parents and friends. A short ceremony at the airport was addressed by sports coordinator Trevor Shillingford, who praised the players for their efforts in winning the West Indies under-17 tournament. And now, we join Leila Langford for this week's entertainment highlights.
We are live at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium, where we are at the first night of the Kada Slipso Tribute Festival. And we have with us Mr. Philip Chubby Mack from the Midnight Groovers. And can you first tell us about Kada Slipso and your experience, how many years that you have been in this arena?
Well, naturally, when I started in 1970, but when I started with Calypso, singing Calypso. I get Old Mash King. I never get Calypso King, but Old Mash King. But after a while, after time running, I say, but we change that Calypso thing. So I go to the Cadence area, and then we went to Guadeloupe. That's where we make all our recordings, and then that gives us a big boost. Because if it wasn't for that, we know we are. So I want to see Carlos music go far. So with my age, imagine they are holding it still. So once the young people are holding it like how we holding it, it will go places.
We know you have received many awards, but tonight you have received a special one from Creole Heartbeat and the organizers of the Tribute Festival. Can you tell us how do you feel about that and how important is this award to you?
Well, I feel great. I feel great enough because and I want to give thanks to Creole Heartbeat massive. And I want to give thanks to Gordon Henderson because without Gordon Henderson, wouldn't be nowhere in the cadence and so on.
Okay. Also, can you tell us to the young people, what message do you have in regards to Cadence Calypso?
Well, I always say that in my interview that is they have to hold the cadence, the young people, because without the young people who hold the cadence, will drop and dead. So I know they don't like the beat too much because they like the Afrobeat, they like different beats, But that is our music and we can't let it go. So we have to hold it by all means. So I'm asking for the young people to take part in playing cadence music. They can play their other music, but keep up with the cadence because that's our own answer.
Okay, well, that's it for entertainment this evening. We were joined by Philip Chubby Mark from Midnight Groovers. That's Layla Langford signing out.
That's how we end this week's DBS News in Review. On behalf of the entire DBS radio team, I am Ivona John Baptist Lugi. Good evening.
DBS Radio now brings to you professional and quality live streaming services for all your funerals, special occasions, and events. Contact us today at 448-3282 or 448-3283 or email us at dbsradio@cwdom.dm. DBS Radio, your new era in broadcasting. Contact us today.